Right now, you are breathing. You didn't choose to start. You won't choose to stop. It just happens over and over about 20,000 times today, and you will not think about a single one of them. But strip away the thin blue layer wrapped around this planet for just 24 hours, and everything you are would stop being possible. Not slowly, almost instantly. You live at the bottom of an ocean, not of water, of air. It presses down on your body right now with a weight of about 1 kilogram per square centimeter of your skin. You don't feel it because you've never known anything else. Your ancestors didn't feel it either. Every human who ever lived inside this invisible pressure and never once questioned it. So what happens the moment it's gone? The first thing you'd lose isn't oxygen. It's pressure. Within seconds, the air still inside your lungs would begin to expand violently because there's nothing outside pushing back anymore. Doctors who study rapid decompression, like physiologists studying high altitude and spaceflight exposure, describe this as embolism. Your body fluids would start to boil, not because of heat, because of the drop in pressure. Water boils at a lower temperature when there's less pressure holding it down. Your blood is mostly water. Your saliva starts to bubble on your tongue. You'd have about 15 seconds of useful consciousness. 15 seconds is not a long time. It's shorter than this sentence took you to read. Somewhere between 9 and 11 seconds, the oxygen already in your bloodstream runs out and your brain starts shutting down non-essential functions. The way a phone dims itself before it dies, you wouldn't panic. You wouldn't even really understand what's happening. You just stop. But you are only one part of a much bigger disappearance. The atmosphere is not just the air you breathe. It's the blanket that keeps this entire planet from freezing and burning at the same time. During the day, sunlight hits Earth and warms the surface. At night, that heat radiates back out into space. Right now, your atmosphere traps some of that outgoing heat, which is why nights aren't instantly freezing. Remove the atmosphere, and there's nothing left to hold the warmth in, and nothing left to block the sun's radiation coming in. The sunlit side of Earth would spike to scorching temperatures almost immediately, while the night side would plunge toward the cold of space itself, hundreds of degrees below freezing, same planet, same moment, two extremes with no buffer in between. Then there's the sky itself. Ever wonder why it's blue? Sunlight is made of every color, and when it hits the gases in your atmosphere, blue light scatters in every direction, far more than the other colors, which is why you look up and see blue instead of white. Physicist Lord Rayleigh worked out the mathematics of this scattering back in the 19th century, and it still holds up today. Take away the atmosphere, and the scattering disappears with it. The sky over your head would turn black. Not night black, space black. You'd see the sun as a blinding white circle surrounded by pure darkness, stars visible right next to it at high noon. And that brings us to the part of the atmosphere most people never think about at all. The ozone layer, high above you, quietly absorbing the sun's most dangerous ultraviolet radiation before it ever reaches your skin. Atmospheric chemist Susan Solomon spent years studying exactly how fragile this layer really is, tracing how certain chemicals could tear holes straight through it. Without any atmosphere at all, there's no ozone left to block anything. Every surface exposed to sunlight would be hit with a level of radiation your cells were never built to survive. Skin, unprotected. Eyes, unprotected. DNA itself, damaged within minutes. Here's the strange part, though. Your body has been quietly preparing you for a version of this your entire life, and you've probably never noticed. Ever felt your ears pop on a plane or driving up a mountain? That's your body detecting a change in atmospheric pressure and scrambling to equalize it. Ever felt short of breath at high altitude, even though the air is technically still breathable? That's your body reacting to thinner atmosphere, less oxygen pressure per breath. You already carry a built-in sensitivity to the exact thing that would kill you if it vanished completely. You just never had a reason to notice it, because it never dropped past a level your body could handle. There's also something deeper going on, something researchers in evolutionary biology have pointed to for decades. Human lungs, human blood, even the shape of your rib cage, all evolved inside a very specific range of atmospheric pressure and oxygen concentration. Move too far outside that range in either direction, too little pressure, too little oxygen, too much oxygen, and your body starts failing in predictable, measurable ways. You are not just living on Earth. You are shaped by it, tuned to it, like an instrument built for one exact note, which makes the whole idea a little dizzying if you sit with it. The atmosphere isn't really separate from you. It's not just the air around your body. It's the reason your body has the shape it has, the blood pressure it has, the lungs it has. Remove it even for a single day, and you're not just removing your environment, you're removing the conditions that made you possible in the first place. Astronauts get closer to this reality than almost anyone else alive. Engineers studying suit failures and depressurization incidents, including the well-documented case of a space shuttle-era researcher named Jim LeBlanc, who briefly experienced a vacuum exposure in a test chamber in the 1960s, have given us real data on what happens to a human body in the seconds after pressure disappears. LeBlanc survived. He later described losing consciousness almost silently, without pain. Just a fading awareness as the moisture on his tongue began to boil. He was repressurized within seconds and recovered completely. His account is one of the only first-hand descriptions we have of what the edge of this scenario actually feels like from the inside. Think about that for a moment. A human being has already touched the edge of a world without atmosphere for a few seconds, in a chamber, on purpose, and lived to describe it calmly afterward. It wasn't dramatic, it wasn't violent, it was quiet, almost gentle. That might be the strangest detail in this entire scenario. You'd expect chaos. Instead, the body seems to slip away almost peacefully, the way a light dims rather than shatters. Now zoom out from your body to the planet itself. Even geologically, this isn't a completely foreign idea. Mars is thought to have once had a thicker atmosphere billions of years ago, before losing most of it, likely because it lost its protective magnetic field and solar wind slowly stripped the atmosphere away over enormous stretches of time. Planetary scientists studying Mars, including teams working with NASA's MAVEN mission, have measured this ongoing atmospheric loss directly, watching charged particles from the sun-stripped gas molecules away year after year. Mars didn't lose its atmosphere in a day. It lost it over roughly 4 billion years, and what's left behind is a cold, thin, mostly lifeless world, a preview of what patience and time can do once the blanket comes off. Earth's atmosphere isn't fragile in the way glass is fragile, likely to shatter at any moment. but it is finite. It is thin. If you could drive straight up instead of across, you'd reach the edge of breathable air in less time than most people spend commuting to work. The distance between you right now, breathing normally, and a version of Earth that can no longer support your life is smaller than most people ever stop to consider. So here's the strange part to actually sit with tonight. You didn't build the atmosphere. You didn't earn it. You were simply born inside a very narrow, very temporary set of conditions that happen to match exactly what your body needs to survive, and you've spent your entire life assuming that arrangement was permanent. It isn't permanent. It's just been consistent enough that you never had to think about it. Tonight, when you step outside and feel the air move against your skin, you're not just feeling weather. You're feeling the exact, narrow, invisible condition that makes every single thing about you possible. Breathe it in. That's not nothing. That's everything.